Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're playing Black Rose. Black Rose is a deck that has basically been good since it came out. The release of the structure deck has been extremely successful. All the cards that are in it are very valuable. And the deck has never been bad, it's just kind of always been below playability since the skill got nerfed. And I really think that with the focus on graveyard decks like Shiranui, the ability to banish every card in the graveyard is very useful, so hopefully some of you decide to play this deck again now that I'm highlighting it. The skill is called Spell of Roses. Send one Rose Dragon monster or one Witch of the Black Rose from your hand to the graveyard. Then add one Rose Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. On the turn you use this skill, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters. This skill can only be used if you begin the duel with a deck that contains a total of at least 10 Tuner or Rose Dragon monsters. Skill can only be used once per duel. So basically this allows us to set up our graveyard and draw our Rox Rose Dragon. That's all we do with it. And Rox Rose is an extremely powerful card, so being able to open it every single game makes the deck very, very consistent and very, very powerful. So we are playing 3 Rox Rose, 3 White Rose, 3 Blue Rose, and 1 Witch of the Black Rose to meet the requirements of 10 monsters. For the main deck, we have Rox Rose Dragon, level 3 Tuner. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one card that mentions Black Rose Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Rox Rose Dragon. That is either going to be your Blue Rose Dragon or your Basil Rose Shoot. While this card is in your graveyard, if a face-up Rose Dragon monster or plant-type synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, so not your Black Rose Dragon effect, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is an extremely good card. You will almost always use it to draw Basil Rose Shoot, and you're going to synchro summon with it immediately, and it's just a solid, recurring, dangerous threat. Very, very good normal summon, very, very good special summon. Play this card, you're going to love it. Magician's Robe, level 2. During your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So Magician's Robe, we mill off of the Shooting Riser Dragon, and that allows us to get good synchro plays off during our opponent's turn. White Rose Dragon, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard except White Rose Dragon. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control a Dragon-type tuner or a Plant-type tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send one level 4 or higher plant-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. So, White Rose Dragon is a great normal summon if you can get it. So what you want to do is if you have White Rose and Blue Rose in your opening hand, you activate the skill, you discard Blue Rose to grab Rox Rose, normal summon White Rose, special summon Rox Rose off of White Rose, then draw the Basil Rose Shoot, bring back the Blue Rose, and then you can go into a level 11, which is crazy. Good card. Witch of the Black Rose cannot be special summoned. If this card is a normal summon and you control no other cards, draw one card, then show it. If it's not a monster, send it to the graveyard and destroy this card. Terrible. Don't play this card. It's just in the deck to meet the requirements. Blue Rose Dragon, when this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Black Rose Dragon or one plant-type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. That's really, really powerful. Blue Rose being able to revive your Black Rose Dragon if it's sent to the graveyard by Black Rose Dragon's effect is very, very good. And you definitely want to have this card at 3 and just kind of use it to get as much value as possible. Basil Rose Shoot, this is the bread and butter of the deck. Special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, including Black Rose Dragon, in defense position. If this card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragon monsters or a monster that mentions it that is banished or in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this card can trigger off of Black Rose Dragon's effect to immediately bring Black Rose Dragon back to the field, which is really, really good. Because one of the biggest problems with Black Rose Dragon has always been that it destroys itself, which is very, very frustrating for a lot of people. Basil Rose Shoot allows you to get around that effect just by setting it, and then you just Black Rose, it pops it while it's face down, you bring the Black Rose back immediately. Fantastic. Book of Moon, Forbidden Lance, these are standard synchro cards. Crackdown and Compulsory Evacuation Device. It's great. You should definitely play this much back row to compensate for how many monsters you're playing. So this is 23 cards, and I haven't had a problem with that. For the extra deck, we have Trishula, 0, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Requires 1 tuner plus 2 or more non-tuners. When this card is synchro summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls without targeting. That misses timing. That's really, really bad. So the way that you make this card is you will make your Shooting Riser Dragon, you will mill the Magician's Robe, then during your opponent's turn, you activate Basil Rose Shoot, revive one of your level 4s, then you can bring back the Magician's Robe off its own effect. Shooting Riser will be level 5 because it milled a level 2, so 5, 7, 11. There you go. Ready Rose Dragon, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners, level 10. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can banish all cards from the graveyards. Then if this card was Synchro Summon using Black Rose Dragon or a plant Synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards on the field. All other, not all. So Ready Rose does not destroy itself. Wow, we got it right this time. When your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy a card, as a quick effect you can tribute this card, negate the activation, then you can special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. That's not good, because the Black Rose got banished off of the effect, but it is a Stardust Dragon effect that was put on Black Rose Dragon for some reason. I guess because Akiza and Yusei end up together. It's cool. I mean, it's got 3,200 attack points. It's really easy to make. You just normal summon the Rox Rose Dragon, get the Basil Rose Shoot, activate it, bring back your Black Rose that got destroyed, and then you have a 3 and a 7. You immediately get the board clearing effect. It's really, really strong. So definitely play this card. It's great. Black Rose Dragon, level 7. When this card is Synchro Summon, you can destroy all cards on the field. That is, again, it misses timing. I don't know why it misses timing. It's extremely bad, but make sure that you use this as a Chain Link 1. Destroy all cards on the field. Very, very powerful. Definitely play this card. It's the heart and soul of the deck. Shooting Riser Dragon, this is our turn 1. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard whose level is lower than this card's, and if you do, reduce this card's level by that monster's level, but for the rest of the turn you cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same name the sent monster had in the graveyard. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can, as a quick effect, immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon using this card you control. So, make this on turn 1, pass to your opponent, get your Magician's Robe back by activating any of your back row, and then you at least can make Black Rose, because it'll be 5 and 2, and if you have the Basil Rose Shoot, you can also bring back one of your level 4s and go into Trishula 0. And both of those cards miss timing. So, you have to be really careful using this card in this deck, but it's really annoying. Yazi cannot be targeted by an opponent's card effects. You can target it and one card your opponent controls and destroy them. Having a monster that can't be targeted is nice for finishing off your opponent. Frame Lord Zeta. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can target a special summon monster your opponent controls in attack position, banish both that monster and this card, but return them in your next standby phase. That's a pretty good effect. It's nice to have as a quick effect if your opponent basically tries to get rid of your Shooting Riser Dragon before they've summoned anything. This is a good card that you can play because, first of all, it doesn't miss timing, and second of all, you know, your opponent doesn't have to have a board when Frame Lord Zeta hits the field, and it can answer a board that was developed afterwards. So cards like Book of Moon, cards like Forbidden Chalice that you use on the Shooting Riser Dragon, you can get around that with Frame Lord Zeta as like an option. And then lastly, we're playing Galatea and Dingirsu, because when I made this deck, Orcus was still running around on the ladder, and you could just crack down one of their cards and then use it to make Galatea and Dingirsu. It was really funny. And I don't really have a better option for using the extra deck than this, so I still say use this card to make an Orcus player cry, and you will feel great. Alright, that's the deck. Let's take a look at the replay. Okay, we are going first against Pre-Nerf Tachyon. Alright, so we have nothing in our hand except a single Blue Rose Dragon, but that's all we need. So we activate the skill, we send the Blue Rose to the graveyard to grab the Rox Rose, normal summon Rox Rose, use it to bring back the Basil Rose Shoot, and then use that to bring back the Blue Rose. Synchro into Shooting Riser. Shooting Riser effect, mill the Magician's Robe, and then set 3. So the combo, if you want to make Trishula 0 going first, is any level 4 plus Basil Rose Shoot. As long as you have at least both of these cards in the hand, then the Rox Rose will get you the other Basil Rose Shoot, and then you'll just be good to go. It's our opponent's turn. He's going to activate the skill, reveal the Parsec and set it on the field, then draw the Nebula Dragon. He flips the Parsec face up, and that will allow us to get priority. We are going to immediately Basil Rose Shoot so that we can easily use Shooting Riser's Dragon's effect as a Chain Link 1. I cannot stress this enough. You need to have the board set up before your opponent starts building their board so that you can respond to anything as a Chain Link 1. You want to basically wait for your opponent to have monsters on their field while you already have monsters on your field, and then you can respond. So we activate Magician's Robe as a chain, we bring it back, and our opponent is going to normal summon the Starlight Safer. We will Book of Moon that because we want him to have more materials on the field. Opponent is going to activate the skill to bounce the Parsec so that they have room to Nebula Dragon. Then they Nebula Dragon, which is exactly what we wanted. They summon 2 monsters. There's no chain that happens when either of these monsters is summoned, which is great. That means that we are now passing priority to us as a Chain Link 1. Now we can Shooting Riser. Synchro Summon using both monsters. 5 plus 2 plus 4 is 11 using 2 non-tuners. Trishula 0. Trishula 0 effect, banish all 3 without targeting. The opponent is not in a good position. They set 2 and they pass. It's our turn. We draw the compulsory evacuation device, which is fine. We're going to activate Basil Rose Shoot, which we can then use to bring back our Rox Rose Dragon and grab the Basil Rose Shoot from the deck. Our opponent is going to warning point that, so not only do we not get to attack, but we also can't use the effect to get lethal, which is fine. We set the compulse and we attack directly. It's our opponent's turn, and our opponent does not draw level 8, so they're going to normal summon Star Leader Seyfert. We bounce it, and they concede. There you go. That is Black Rose. That is the consistency skill of send a level 4 to the graveyard to draw a level 3 tuner that revives the level 4, and then mill a level 2 to go straight into Trishula 0 during the opponent's turn. Banishing 3 monsters in the middle of your opponent's combo will ruin them. It doesn't target. It's a fantastic option. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.